Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bloomeranga's podcast. Today, we are joined by Jessica Dance, a UK-based artist, designer, and a creative coach who has worked with renowned brands including Vogue, Nike, Barbie, British Airways, Selfridges, Harrods, BMW, Google, and a lot of others wonderful brands. And after many years in the creative industry, Jessica trained as a life coach, combining her experience and passion for art and business with deep interest in psychology. So this is a wonderful combination. And now she runs a coaching practice focused on empowering creative entrepreneurs to build lives and businesses that are joyful, impactful, and financially sustainable. So I'm very excited to have you with us, Jessica. Thank you for taking the time.
It's so nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
So since a lot of our listeners are designers, and you coming from that part as well, and now being a coach, I think that there will be really a lot of interest in how we can build a practice that gives you the creative freedom, right? Allows you to do the work that you feel aligned with, and at the same time brings the financial sustainability. So it's not that kind of rat race all the time, right? I think this is the main issue that most creatives have.
Definitely. And that's how I actually got into coaching. Was I got completely burnt out working as an artist. And I realized how many people were going through this and how we end up just working ourselves into the ground and burning out. And we can kind of really start to lose the love for the thing that means so much to us. Just because we are doing too much, we're pushing too hard, and we're not actually listening to our bodies and building the business in a way which is sustainable, and both in the sense so that it actually feels good to us, and building a business in a way that fits our lifestyle. I think that's really, really important. And so often we start doing something and we find out that we're good at it, and we do it some more and we start getting the commissions in, and that's great. That's really exciting. And then after a while, we start to feel that tiredness, like we haven't actually built the business in a way which is intentional or sustainable. And that's often where people start to wobble. Or a lot of people that come to me, they can be kind of 10 years into their career and they're like, I can't keep working like this.
Right. I think we all go through this period of like, I don't want to do it anymore. I either need to reset completely, right?
Yes.
Think of something new, different, or it's just going to explode.
You're so right.
Yeah. So how do you usually work with clients then who are kind of really ready for a reset, right? What are the things that you explore, and where do you see those core issues are, right, that require attention and a complete turnaround in order to swim out to brighter horizons?
Definitely. So there's three kind of core pillars with my coaching, what I cover. So I look at the nervous system. So working with the nervous system, creating safety in the body. And then there's the mindset. So often we have limiting beliefs. We have thoughts about if we're good enough. We can struggle with kind of like blocks around money and receiving money. So we do all the mindset work as well. And then there's the clear strategy. Now, we can create an amazing strategy, but if we haven't addressed the nervous system and creating safety in the body and the mindset first, then the strategy won't be sustainable. And that's one of the biggest things that I found. When I first started coaching, I was just coaching on mindset and strategy. And I was like, the missing piece, nervous system regulation, then mindset, then strategy. And this is how we create a sustainable business that actually feels good. I had a client the other day that said to me, I've worked with a coach before and I've implemented like all of these strategies. How come it's working now when I'm working with you? Now, the difference is there may be some strategy double up that we've done, looking around like niche, offer, marketing, all of these things. But the point is, if you haven't done the nervous system work first, you need to create safety in the body so that you can actually expand your window of tolerance so you feel safe holding the success. If we don't feel safe enough holding success, then actually the strategy isn't going to work. So that energy is so different. So it might look like, okay, these steps are kind of similar, but the results that he is getting is completely different because he's regulated his nervous system, because he's done the mindset work. He's not just working at the level of action. He's gone down to the root, essentially, and healed some things that need to be healed, worked through some things and some blocks that needed to be worked through, created that safety. So then now that when he's creating the strategy, it's working, things are starting to actually align. And also it's coming from safety. It's not coming from fear. It's not coming from scarcity. And those actions also aren't coming from the shoulds. You know, when we look around at other people and like, they're doing this, they're earning this, I should be here, I should be there. And then we start taking action in alignment with what we think we should, in inverted commas, be doing. Actually, what we want to do is we want to reconnect to our purpose. And then that's when we can do that meaningful work. And we work from a place of alignment rather than conditioning and shoulds and things like that. So I think that's a really key point is, you know, going to that root first.
Welcome to Bloomerangas. Bloomerangas provides tools, skills, and experiences to unlock creativity in a variety of contexts, such as brand development, product development, team building, and self-knowledge. You'll get access to digital tools, which can be extended through physical tools into digital experiences, which you can facilitate for your team or your clients. Or you can go as far as creating creativity playgrounds in order to nurture your creative muscle. The fastest way to jump on board is to subscribe, and you'll get access to our digital tools and can join our creativity sessions online, where you'll be able to experience facilitation in a variety of formats. I hope you'll consider us, and I'll see you inside.
Right. So I was waiting for this word alignment, which you also use. And I think I'm totally with you on that if we are not deeply aligned, right, with what we are doing, so it's kind of difficult to sustain that for a long time. Like maybe you can manifest some things for short term, but then you won't feel like it's kind of in your heart, right? So you're not gonna be able to keep it up for a long time.
Yeah, it's like, and we can probably create some short-term success with that, but also it doesn't feel good in your body.
Exactly.
Essentially, like if we know our intuition, that you know, that deep knowing that you have, and we can become disconnected from that intuition. But when we know what it is we want to do and we're taking actions that don't align with it, essentially your actions aren't aligning with your thoughts and your feelings. So everything's going to be like short-lived what you're creating. It's not going to last, and it's not going to feel good, and you will burn out. Whereas when you're rooted in belief and purpose, that is when it's such an energy shift. That's when things start to flow. That's when we start attracting these things, and it just starts happening for us. And we're like, hang on, this doesn't feel forceful. It doesn't feel effortful. And it's like,
yes.
And it's rooted in that self-trust, it's rooted in safety, and it's rooted in purpose. And I find that's the biggest things with my clients is that, and you know, this happened for myself as well. We start getting some success and we start getting commissions in, and then we just end up taking the commissions that come in rather than actually steering the ship and thinking, where do I want to go and what's meaningful for me? We end up being like, you know, grateful that the jobs come in, which is, it's good to be grateful. We want to be grateful, but actually, does it align with your purpose? That's the main thing.
Yes, exactly. So in a way, it's being kind of starting to be more conscious, right, of where you're spending your time rather than taking assignments for the sake of money, right?
Yes,
which of course is important.
Yeah, but, and that's what I always say to my clients. It's like, yes, there's always a practical side to things. You know, we all have bills to pay, and you know, I'm not saying, yeah, you know, just think nice thoughts and, you know, the jobs will come. It's like, no, we're really practical. If a client says to me, you know, this job has come in, it's not completely off the mark, but it's not the one. It's like, that's okay. Just know how much energy you're giving it. Know how much energy it's taking from you. But also look at it in a way of like, I am building towards, you know, whatever direction the client wants to go in. I'm building towards this. And right now, this pays my bills and means I can afford to keep doing this. And that's not the that's not the end goal to keep taking misaligned jobs, but actually we can look at it in a different way. We can kind of reframe, like if we need to take that job on, it's like, okay, this isn't keeping me stuck. This is allowing me and affording me to explore the route that I want to go down. And it means I can pay these bills and develop this at the same time. So I'm always, practical with it, because sometimes it's fine and we're like, okay, there's enough money in the bank and I don't need to take that on, and that's brilliant. But there are times when it is like, okay, do you know what, I've got a load of bills and I know I'm building this, I know it's going to work, but I need to get some money in just now. So yes. I always think it's knowing what you're choosing and being really intentional about it as well, and being aware. And I think that's something that's super important, is to build an awareness so we're not feeling like we're running on autopilot and we're in that panic mode saying yes to everything all the time.
Yes, very right. Because when you have that clarity, right, then your relationship towards the work that you are doing, like you kind of put as much, not like you don't put all of yourself into it and then you feel like I'm not getting the full satisfaction.
Yes.
You're just putting as much to get the result that's needed, but you know that that's not where the heart is, let's say, but it's there to kind of keep the gas coming
exactly.
So you keep on driving further. Yeah.
And also when that energy shifts and we start to see it as, this isn't what I'm going to continue to do forever, this is a for now so that I can develop this side of the business, like actually that becomes less exhausting. Like when we're being really intentional with it and knowing, it's not like, oh, I've got to do this and this feels horrendous. It's that shift in, this is actually supporting the thing that I'm developing just now. Whereas when we're just doing it and we're taking every job that comes in, that's exhausting. It feels so tiring.
Right, exactly.
Like it's never going to end. So
yes,
it really is just like knowing what you're choosing and why you're choosing it, and bringing in that awareness and intention around these decisions we make in our business. So we're not just kind of going along with the tide.
Right, exactly. So it's in a way, it's also learning to create that a little bit of a distance between the job, right? And then, of course, always creating space probably for that thing that you really want to move forward. So you don't forget that, right?
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes we have the luxury of just focusing on the thing that we want to move forward, or the thing that we want to grow. And that's brilliant. But I just think that isn't always the situation. So, I never say to people, you've got to completely stop doing that. Like, not at all.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say that if there is, like, we all had periods in our lives where like projects really overwhelm you, and if we have someone listening right now kind of being fully overwhelmed by projects and in this rat race all the time of just finishing the project, like going from one project to another, what would you say, what could be those things to help you kind of orientate yourself to where you are and see the light at the end of the tunnel?
Definitely. I think there's a lot to be said for just pausing. Now, pausing can feel, especially when you feel like you're stuck in the rat race, pausing can feel a little bit scary at first because it's not seen as productive. And this is something that I really encourage, like when we can pause, if we can pause and rest, that's ideal. Like taking some time out, even if it's a day, to be like, I'm spending this day just on me. Like this is for me to reflect, it's for me to journal, it's for me to see where I'm at right now. So coming back to yourself, essentially, I always looked at it like, you are your own home. And so many of us have drifted so far from that. When we can come home to ourselves and we can pause and we can acknowledge what we're feeling, what we're experiencing, what we're enjoying, what we're not enjoying, and just getting curious with ourselves. So we're building that awareness. I always think that is such a great place to start, because rather than being like, what do I need to do? What am I feeling right now? Like, what is my body telling me? Like, so important to ground down before making any decisions. So I see that as, that's the pause, and that's super, super powerful. A pause really can feel, even if you don't have a whole day, if it's half an hour, I would really just prioritize that. So that's the first thing, is getting an awareness around where you're at. It's like dropping a pin on a map. Where am I now? And where do I want to go? What is it that's not sitting right? What is it that is sitting right? And I think it's very rare unless we get into a practice of doing this, it's very rare that we do this, because we can become afraid of like, what am I going to like, am I taking the lid off of something and I'm not going to be able to stuff it all back in? Now, this is where self-trust comes in. Allowing yourself to feel the emotions that you actually need to feel in order to know where you want to go. Now, emotions are like messengers. So emotions are meant to move, and this is why we're meant to actually feel them. When we don't feel them, things start to get stuck in our bodies. We can end up feeling quite heavy. We can end up feeling confused. We need to allow ourselves to actually process and feel. And this gives us information. So, you know, I'm sure you can probably think of an example where like you've had an idea and it makes you feel a certain way. When we think a thought, it creates a feeling in our bodies. When we feel something, that feeling is then going to create our actions. And then our actions create our results. So what we want to do is really pay attention to like, what are the thoughts that I'm thinking as well? How do those thoughts make me feel? Like, what does this create in my life? So it really is, the initial phase is looking inwards. How am I feeling? What are the thoughts that I'm thinking? What is this creating for me? And where do I want to be? And this doesn't have to be something that is like big and scary. You can be like, do you know what? I'm going to commit to 15 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day after work where I'm going to journal, or in the morning. Like, it really doesn't matter. It's whatever works for you. But just know, at first it can feel, if you haven't done this kind of thing before, it can feel a bit scary. And you will feel resistance to doing this, and it's really, really normal. But what I want to reassure you is like, this awareness means we can create change. If we're just going on autopilot every day, nothing changes. So actually, no, your primitive brain isn't going to want you to do this. Your primitive brain is going to be like, stay in the cave, keep doing this.
Yes. If that fear, right? That kind of it covers the fear and says, okay, it's okay the way it is, even if it's painful.
Yes, we get so comfortable in our discomfort because it's familiar, and it sounds crazy, but that is what we do. Because our brain is like, okay, this is uncomfortable, but I know the outcome of uncomfortable. I stay where I am. That's predictability. That's what the primitive brain wants. Predictability to primitive brain equals safety. Did I say that the right way around? Safety equals predictability equals safety. Yeah.
Right.
So, and that's what the primitive brain loves. But what we want to do is we want to get into that conscious mind. This is how we access our true purpose as well. So when the primitive brain's running the show, we're going to keep on doing the same thing. When we actually pause, we meditate, we journal, we start taking care of ourselves, this is when your intuition will start to speak to you. And this is where the gold is. I cannot tell you how powerful this is. Like, we want to read all the books. We want to go to like ChatGPT. We want to like see what everybody else is doing. You already have everything that you need. And sometimes that can be really exciting, and sometimes it can be
Yes.
really but
it's very tempting, right? It's very tempting to run off and really, like you say, read those books, watch those podcast episodes of all the stars, successful people who are talking, and you kind of get lost there, right? Just to avoid going inside, isn't it? It's like a total distraction.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really important to balance this is going off on a bit of a tangent, but I think just as you said that made me think it's so important to balance creation with consumption, as in just check where you're at. I mean, preferably more creation than consumption, but I think right now so many people are 90% consumption.
Yes.
It's like media and, you know, all of the things, and some of it is wonderful, but we've forgotten how to go inward and ask ourselves the questions, and we've lost that self-trust. Not everybody, but I do think it's happening more and more because there's so much amazing information and so many, it's available to us like within, you know, fractions of a second. It's so much easier to pick up your phone or, you know, pick up something else, go on Google, whatever it is, Instagram, and you've got the answer there. You don't have to go inside and search and listen to your intuition. So yes, it's balancing creation and consumption and being like, okay, how much am I creating? Like, do I want to be creating 80% and consuming 20% each week? And just seeing, like, is that balance off? Because I think that is a big driver for losing touch with ourselves as well. And I mean, God, I go through phases of it and I'm suddenly like, why do I feel lost and not sure? And then I'm like, oh, because I've just been going to, you know, the internet to answer my questions, rather than being like, what am I feeling? Like, it's always a key thing, like coming back to yourself and checking in with yourself. the more you practice it, the clearer that voice becomes and the safer you're going to feel, the more regulated your nervous system is going to feel as well. So rather than being like caught in the noise, caught in that primitive brain, we come back to our conscious awareness. Like we want to build that prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that essentially is responsible for decision making, rather than, if we wake up and we've got halfway through the day and we can't even remember what we did. We're like, I don't even remember choosing those things, but we're just in that kind of that autopilot mode.
Right.
So I think that's something that a lot of us, including myself, I've definitely struggled with that.
Yeah.
For more inspiring content, subscribe to our Substack at creativity.bloomerangas.com and our Bloomerangas YouTube channel, where we explore creativity from every angle, how to activate it, live it, and facilitate it for others, featuring talks with world-class creators and insights from behind the Bloomerangas game.
And as part of that kind of running away and getting lost in the noise, right? Or there is also this one byproduct of that is that you end up feeling not good enough, right? Because there's just so much good things and so much more professional things done, and you end up comparing yourself, and you end up saying, well, right, how do you help clients overcome that and kind of,
Yeah. So I think the first thing, like a lot of the work we do is initially is building self-trust and self-confidence, rooting into that safety, as we touched on earlier with regulating the nervous system, practices to do that so you can come back to yourself, start hearing that intuition. And then we work through the mindset blocks, like looking at limiting beliefs and building new beliefs that actually serve you, so that things that are going to take you in the direction that you actually need to go in. We work through a lot of blocks and a lot of old stories that we've told ourselves. When we start to see these beliefs as stories, which essentially they are, a belief is just a thought that we've thought many times. When we start to see them as stories, that is when we can start building new beliefs that align with the future that we want to create. Then all of a sudden, these distractions, these comparisons, they don't feel so big, they don't feel so heavy, and we're not seeking something outside of us so much because we're building our own thing, like we've gone inward. It doesn't mean we exclude everything outside of us. I think it's great to get inspiration, to see what's going on in the world. Like I think that's really powerful, but again, it needs to be have that balance. So when we've regulated the nervous system, we have built belief, let go of the limiting beliefs, and built new beliefs that align with the future we want to create. That is when actually these things that start appearing, and things we might see on Instagram, it doesn't feel as scary anymore, because you're working on something, you're building towards something, and you've built that self-trust and that safety within you. You start to realize, okay, I can go out into the world and I can try something. And if it doesn't work first time, that's okay. I'm not going to beat myself up for it. So often when we're not trusting ourselves and we're stuck in that compare and despair cycle, we get more frustrated, because then we stop doing things. We stop doing the things we want to do because we're like, oh, they've done it. And that can feel really heavy. But when we're trusting ourselves and we build belief, what happens is we start to be able to commit to having our own back. I'm going to try this thing, and I'm going to refuse to beat myself up afterwards. That is one of the things which is a game changer. That when we are afraid of doing something, it's typically not because of other people's responses. It's because of how we're going to treat ourselves on the other side of it. And when we know, I'm just not going to beat myself up, I'm not going to make it mean anything about me, and I'm going to take this as information, and then I get to go again. This is so much with creative businesses, or any business. It's trial and error. We can do things in iterations. We don't have to get it right first time, and we rarely do. But the thing is, we don't notice other people's iterations. So then if we're not feeling grounded, we're not feeling safe, we're going to be looking outside of us. Oh, look, she's absolutely smashing it and she's getting it right. And, loads of people are buying this and everybody's commissioned her for this. It's a really easy place for our primitive brain to be like, look, see, it's dangerous.
Yeah, I told you.
Exactly. Which is why building that safety and building that self super important. And also, once we built that, it's a constant maintenance. It's not like, okay, I've done that, ticked off the list. We have these practices, we keep grounding, and we keep doing daily exercises that keep us connected to ourselves. But also when we start to do that, it becomes a lot easier to build our business in a way that feels good. So if we think about clarifying your niche, for example, and your messaging, that then becomes less scary because we're not thinking, hang on, I need to fit in with everybody else. I need to make sure that everybody approves of this. It's like, hang on, what means something to me? Then suddenly your niche starts to get clearer when you're not scared of other people's opinions and not scared of what people are going to think, not scared of how you're going to treat yourself. You start to be honest with yourself, like what actually feels good? How do I want to communicate? And then we start to shape those offers that actually feel sustainable and marketing in a way that feels regulated rather than performative. So we build these strong foundations. And then actually when we go out into the world to do these things, they don't feel as scary. It's something new. So there is still always going to be like nerves and a bit of apprehension. And that's really normal. I still feel that now. And I do this work every day. And I just reassure myself, this is part of the process. And actually growth can be uncomfortable. We get to choose when it comes to growth. We can stay in the same place and we can want that growth. We can be craving that growth, but not doing it, not doing anything to change our situation. Now that's really uncomfortable. And then we've got the discomfort when we think, sorry, I just realized I used the wrong word there. So I just start that bit again, if that's okay. We get two different kinds of discomfort when it comes to growth. We have the discomfort, which is unproductive, which essentially is us staying in one place. We're doing the same thing every day. We're not happy. We're frustrated. We know we want to do more, but we're not taking any action to create any change. And then we have productive discomfort, which essentially is going out and doing the thing that feels a bit scary. That is uncomfortable. It's going to be. But what I want you to see is you have two options. You've got the unproductive discomfort, or you've got the productive discomfort that moves you forwards. So it's all about knowing what you're choosing. Which discomfort, if I'm going to get discomfort either way, which one is it that I want to go for? And no one ever wants to hear that. They're like, can it not just feel nice?
Yes. Love that. Yeah. Maybe it's better to feel discomfortable in the process of going towards growth rather than being stuck, right? Because both of them have this period of uncertainty or sort of unsatisfaction, right? Until you kind of cross a certain bridge and you start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
It's the best feeling ever when you get to that where you've done something and you're like, I didn't know how to do that 3 days ago, or I didn't know how to do that 3 months ago. It's the best feeling because it's like, that's the real dopamine. It's not the quick dopamine hits that feel addictive and feel like urgent. And that's always something that we can come home to or we can check in on, I should say. If you're thinking about doing something and it feels like urgent and I need to do it straight away, I need to do it, and it feels like intense, that's typically that kind of fake dopamine. That's the kind of like the Instagram likes, the kind of, sugary hit, those things. It feels like I've got to do it straight away.
Yes.
Things that we really work for, that is what really moves the needle, and that is what creates that real dopamine, which feels amazing because you get that sense of satisfaction. And the more we do this, and it hasn't got to be anything massive, it could just be a small win, that thing you've been putting off, and you go and try it and you figure it out. Oh, it feels so good. But this is what builds self-confidence. And this is why I say to people, don't suddenly go, I need to go and do everything immediately. And, trying to do like massive things, because one, it won't be sustainable, you'll burn out. But when we do the small things, we build safety, and our nervous system starts to recognize, okay, this is safe. Like we do something small, we celebrate it. We actually acknowledge the win, which us creatives often forget to do. We skip that bit and we're like, but I still haven't done enough. We acknowledge the win. We pause afterwards, we reflect, we build that awareness. And sometimes we might need a bit of recovery if we've gone outside of our comfort zone. And then we go again with the next thing and the next thing. And so we build it incrementally.
I love that fact of you saying about you have to acknowledge your accomplishments before you kind of move on, because a lot of the time, especially the overachievers out there, they don't acknowledge that, right? The wins, and then they feel it's like it's never enough, right, of what you accomplished, and it's kind of you don't congratulate yourself and then there is all this also lack of self-belief builds up. It's sort of that you don't fill your own cup
exactly.
at all.
You don't enjoy that success, and then it's like, so
yes, what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
So love that suggestion.
That sense of accomplishment, I think that means more than anything. And I think most people like, yeah, it's great to make the money. Yeah, it's great to work with the brands, like brilliant. But actually the thing that feels the best is like, I just figured that out. Like I didn't know how to do that, and now I do. Or I tried that 3 times and it didn't work. And each time I tweaked it a little bit, and now it's just worked. Like it is the best feeling. And that is the thing that has us being like, yeah, I want to keep growing. Rather than it coming from fear and scarcity, like the example that you used of it's never enough, I keep needing to do in order to be worthy and never quite reaching that thing. Actually, this version where we are acknowledging the wins and we are pausing and we are reflecting and we're figuring things out and we're like, yes, feeling that sense of achievement, that really is the thing that keeps us going. That's the thing that motivates us, and it gives us momentum because we're building it in a way that feels good. When we are constantly chasing, typically it's because we don't think we're good enough. Typically it's a case of, when I get there, I'll be happy. What we want to do is we want to figure out how to be happy first, and then anything else is a bonus.
It's a nice bonus to happiness, yes.
Exactly. And because of the energy shift, we start attracting those things because we're not forcing, we're not pushing, we're in alignment. So you see the difference, and that's something
very different energy. I agree with that.
And it changes everything. Like the example that I used earlier with the client saying, you know, from the strategic side of things, I'm doing similar things to what I did with another coach, but it works now. And because you're in alignment now and you've created safety, and that energy is completely different. Your approach is different. So I think it's such a game changer. And I think,
isn't it that energy then exactly that when other people feel it when you're doing things from that self happiness, you know, sort of you're already full and you are doing it out of willingness to share, rather than you're doing it because you need something, because you want something. There's always that agenda in the back of your mind, and I think that also attracts different kind of people, right? Or whatever is manifesting out there. It's very different quality, right?
You're so right. It is, and it's an energy exchange. And I think so. You've got that abundant energy, and then you've got the scarcity, the kind of that I need this to happen. I need to convince.
Yes, exactly.
It's so different. But yeah, people feel it. You can't always name it as such. It's like it's just different. And I'm sure you've had it before when somebody's asked you about an opportunity or something, they want you to do something or they want to speak to you about something. You feel it when it's abundant, when it feels fun, when it feels exciting. And you feel it when it's like, oh, this feels graspy and something's off, and it's really hard to put into words sometimes.
Exactly. But at the same
touch your intuition, like knowing what that feels like in your body, and you're like, something's just not
quite right. Yes. At the same time, I mean, I used to run a brand agency. I lived in Paris for 9 years, and I remember that there was this time when I was chasing things, you know, because I had a team, I needed to ensure we have clients and all of that. And it's difficult when you know that you need to pay, you know, at the end of the month for people. It's difficult to always feel abundant and full, whereas you see that you might not kind of have the cash flow meeting your needs at the end of the month. So how to navigate that then, right? And to still maintain the trust that things will work out, whereas maybe it's not going to happen.
I think there's a practical side of things, and this is what I always like to balance. It's firstly looking at the practical side of, let's say you've been running a business for X amount of years. Like, firstly, if a client came to me with something like this, I'd be like, okay, how much do you have in the bank? Like, how long could you keep these staff on for, like, realistically, so we know. Information can create safety. Oh, it's really important that we know where we are. Again, like putting that pin on the map, like, okay, I'm here. And because you might say, like, I have no idea. So often when we don't know, this is where we feel fear, we feel unsafe, like everything feels like it's kind of like slipping away. When we pause, yes, there's a lot of discomfort in a situation, let's say a situation where you're like, oh, I don't know if I can pay my staff. That's going to be uncomfortable to pause and to be like, okay, let's look at the numbers. But that discomfort is much shorter term than the not knowing and getting through every day and just about surviving and being like, oh, so stressed. So that kind of like short spike of like, I need to look at these numbers now and figure this out. So that's the first thing. If somebody's in a situation like that, I would be like, let's be really practical initially. Like first, ground down, pause, breathe. Then we get practical. How long can you pay your staff for, essentially? When would you need to do something and what are those steps? Once we've created some kind of strategy there, it's pausing and being able to be like, okay, what would I like to do next? Now, let's say you've decided like, okay, I'm gonna, if nothing's changed in 3 months, then I need to let one person go or something like that. So we've got a plan there. Then we would just have to, because that's like an immediate, more of an emergency situation. Then it'd be like, okay, now we do nervous system regulation. It's really interesting when we do nervous system regulation and mindset, and we start aligning with like, okay, what's the dream? What do we want to create? And we start looking at, rather than focusing on what we don't want to happen, we start focusing on what we do want to happen. It's amazing how many more ideas come. Like, it is amazing how opportunities start to arise. Like, think of your brain like Google. Each thought you think is going to return all these search results relevant to what you've thought. So if you're thinking, this is never going to work out for me, that's what you're going to get. All the information, essentially, because your brain can't take everything in at once. So it's going to filter things out that aren't relevant with the thought. So if you're thinking it's not going to work and this is never going to get figured out, your brain then is going to show you all the evidence that aligns with that thought. So we want to focus on what we do want to create. Now, I think another really important thing is when we're experiencing a situation like this, to acknowledge this is really hard right now. I never want to
voice it out. Love that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And to actually feel it and be like, this feels like shit right now, or I'm scared, or like name it and feel it. That's so important. So rather than like, let's just focus on positive things, it's like, if there's something in the immediate, we get practical, and then we do the nervous system regulation, mindset work, and we acknowledge this is hard just now, and not expecting yourself to be like, everything's amazing, when actually at that point it might not be. So when we do this, it's almost like, okay, we need to slow everything down, which can feel a little bit scary when, let's say, for example, or to use your example, the staff that need to be paid and things are a bit quiet. Mm-hmm. And we start doing the work around, okay, where do we want to take the business? What do we want to do? And looking at the strategy, like how are we currently promoting the business? How do you want to promote the business? So it's not about forcing yourself to feel better. It's about acknowledging and meeting yourself where you are, and then bringing that conscious awareness in to make a plan and decide where you do want to go. So, and noticing the things that you do have in your life which are working really well. It's really easy. Our brains are wired to focus on the negative unless we do that work to be like, okay, I need to notice the things that are working. And that again comes back to that pause and learning to get to know yourself, to journal, to get some of the things out of your head so you're not carrying so much around.
Right. Love that. So in a way, kind of the acknowledgement, right, of where you are is part of that process of grounding, right? So even if it's where you are is a very bad situation, you still kind of acknowledge where you are and work out from there, isn't it?
Yeah. And when we journal on these things as well, because I find, and I always say, do this by hand, like don't, if you want to do it on your phone, you can, but I would really recommend writing it by hand. We clear a lot of stuff out and we can reflect on things a lot more. We create space. When we're holding it all, it's like there's no movement when we're holding too much and there's just so much in our brains. Empty your brain out onto paper. Like, it's amazing how much that can help. And we can start to see like, okay, it helps us to take responsibility, essentially. Like, okay, I need to change this. I need to stop doing this. I need to start doing that. I can see that I'm really like over focusing on this area. When we're journaling and emptying our brains out, I always say, almost imagine you're like an observer. You're like the watcher. So you're not in it. You're just like, okay, what's in my brain today? Because our thoughts are not facts. So we just want to be like, okay, what is the situation here? And if you read over what you've journaled on or what you've written, normally for me anyway, about 85% of it is thoughts. There's very little facts in there, which I always find really interesting because we get to choose our thoughts. We get to choose how we're thinking about something. But I think, when a situation is bad, I think it's really important to acknowledge this is heavy right now and I'm holding a lot. I never ever want anybody, like my clients or anybody, to be like, I need to be positive about this and I should be coming from an abundant energy. It's about acknowledging where you are and also removing the story from it and the self-judgment from it, and that I shouldn't be in this situation. I should be doing better by now. I've messed this up. That's the thing that we really want to work through, and allow yourself to kind of, even if we can just shift to neutral, to be like, okay, this has happened. And we still take responsibility, but actually beating yourself up keeps you in the situation that you're in. We make it about us, and then we end up just feeling terrible about ourselves, when actually it's like, okay, how can we just neutralize this a little bit just for now? And then this is where we then start to take those steps, like, what can I do to create this change? But it's often, we end up beating ourselves up and just being stuck because of that, because we're so stuck in in our thoughts around the situation.
It's like a downward spiral, downhill.
It
Right?
really is. Yeah. And it doesn't lead to anything that moves us forward.
Yes, exactly. So let's talk about money a little bit. I love your phrase of money doesn't come from time and effort. So what's your view on that financial side of things, right? Because I think a lot of creatives, the ideal situation is to have the financial stability and, of course, to have the time to do all your creative things, right? And the freedom for that. So
Definitely.
how come, like, what's your view on the money, on the creative freedom, and the fact that money doesn't come from time and effort?
Yes. Yeah, because we can often end up being like, okay, if I just keep doing more, I'll get paid more and then I'll have enough money. And then we end up completely exhausted. And because there's a ceiling, there's only so many hours in the day. And this is why when we're focused on that time and effort, like it doesn't work. It's really hard to scale that. But actually, like, I see it as like it's a value exchange. It's an energy exchange. And if we think it's coming from time and effort, that's typically what leads to burnout. And we make it really hard for ourselves. Like, so many of us, including myself, I've created a money course for creatives, because I'm like, this is so needed. And I took myself through the course because I was like, this is the very thing that I needed the most and I couldn't find. So, and there's practical parts of it, and I delve into like building your business model and looking at, how do I want to work? What do I want to charge? What feels abundant? Like, what actually feels good? Letting go of old money stories, like, I cover it all in there. But yes, I think when we get stuck in this trap of like, I need to do more to earn more, it's going to lead to burnout. When we can start to see like it's a value exchange, I'm creating something. There's no one else like you creating the same thing. Like, that in itself, that is so valuable. It really is. And this is where, you can start to look at what it is you're offering as well. It's like, actually, do I want to specialize a bit more? So there's really no one else offering this. And, what feels like more of me? And this is why leaning into your intuition, reconnecting to your purpose is so important. Because when we do that, we create something that's so unique. When we've created something that's so unique, we can essentially name our price. But we need the confidence and the self-belief in order to charge that. If you go out today and you're like, I'm just going to double my prices, but you're not grounded in belief of like what I'm delivering is worthy of that amount, then you're not going to sell it. Again, the energy exchange, it's like people will feel that you're not believing in it. You're not going to want to show up in your marketing. You need your mind and body needs to be on board first when it comes.
Yes, very much so. It's like that there is almost like a price tag to the energy that you bring, isn't it?
Yeah, completely. And I really can't stress enough how much it's important to recognize your value and really believe in that, because that's what becomes magnetic. That's what people feel. Also, you've got to be excited to show up and tell people that they can buy your product or your service when you're in that full belief. If you're not going to show up. You're not going to be doing whatever it is you do to promote your product. And I think, when it comes to money, it's actually seeing it as that kind. What we can do is like, we can get money and then really hold on to it and we grip too tightly because it might not be coming again. It might not be coming again. And then this also affects things. I don't know if you've ever noticed this. I definitely notice it. When I've done that, it's like money feels heavy, everything feels stuck. When I have been in an abundant state and I've been like, do you know what, more money is coming, like building that trust and whilst building my belief. And when money comes in, if I invest it in something else, something that's going to help me grow or learn, like whatever it is, something for my practice, like, you know, if you're an artist, it might be some materials. If you then, there's something that you feel you need, and it doesn't, I'm not saying as soon as you get money, you have to spend it, but it's really interesting when we start seeing money as an energy. It's like, okay, I'm going to invest in this because it's going to help me grow. And I'm going to, you know, I'm going to save X amount and, you know, just doing what you want to do with your money and it feeling freer. Things really start to shift. You start notice money starts coming in easier. Money starts flowing when we're holding tightly of like, you know, I really need this thing, but I can't because I don't know I've got that payment, but what if there's not another one? Of course, we want to be practical. We want to acknowledge the bills, but we don't want to overstretch ourselves. But sometimes we have got enough in the bank and we're not allowing ourselves to enjoy that or to allow ourselves to allow the money to move us forward, the money that we've created. And when we have the belief like, okay, we can create more value, which creates money, that really starts to change. But when we're stuck in that kind of that time, effort,
holding to things because of fear of not enough. Yeah.
Gripping too tightly. Again, it's that energy of scarcity. And I think, you know, for me, I had lots of money stories that, you know, when I was younger, it was from hearing like, you know, what my friends and family would say about money and things like that. So I started to think, okay, it's really hard to make money. Like we can have so many limiting beliefs. You know, one that often comes up is like, it's hard to make money as an artist. Okay, if you think that thought, and that's sometimes this is an ingrained belief, we don't even know we're thinking it half the time. If you think that thought and you are believing that, and that can just be ticking over, running in the background, you're not choosing to think it every day, it's just become a belief, you're going to feel a certain way. You're probably going to feel unmotivated to then go and try and make money. When you feel unmotivated, you're probably not going to put yourself out there. You're probably not going to try new things. You're not going to believe it's possible to then create that success. And the result is you make it hard for yourself to make money. And this is where like letting go of the limiting beliefs. And, you know, I never say to people, jump straight to, it's really easy to make money as an artist. We would inch our way towards the belief that we want to build. So for example, like it could be possible that I could make good money as an artist. And then you might feel curious. And then when you're curious, you're going to try new things. You're going to put yourself out there a bit more. You're going to test things. And then the result is things start to change. You start to bring money in. So this is like the power of our thoughts. But what I do want to stress is always nervous system first. So don't try and do this thought work when we think about the thought, feeling, action, result. If your nervous system isn't regulated first, then trying to change your thoughts and build new thoughts and beliefs is quite difficult because you're working against yourself. So you want to ground and create safety. Then you start to look at the thoughts. Okay, what do I want to choose to think instead? What new beliefs can I start to build? So yeah, it's really interesting. And I think within the creative industry as well, there's a lot of stories around money and what artists can make and, you know, what we should be charging.
Right.
Well, actually, we can, you know, it's completely subjective. Like we can charge whatever we want. We can say, you know, that's expensive. And for the next person, you could say, you know, £1,000 is expensive for a piece of art. And somebody else would be like, that's a complete bargain for a piece of art. Like that is a really low price. It's completely subjective. There's not a right, there's not a wrong. You just need to be grounded in how you're pricing your work and you need to believe in that. Then you attract your people. And I think that's the key thing. And obviously, you know, that's going into pricing, but still relating to money there.
Yeah, love that. Thank you so much, Jessica. I think we touched a lot of interesting things, right? That it's all about grounding yourself and celebrating steps towards your ultimate dream and being doing things that are in alignment. And then, of course, setting prices, right? That you kind of feel worth or increasing your worth and then setting pricing accordingly.
You know, I think just a quick point on that. I think one thing is like you are worthy regardless. Like you haven't got to charge any amount of money. There's no right, wrong that aligns with your worth. Your worth is totally separate to what you're charging. what your pricing is, it doesn't mean anything about you. And I think that's so key to separate that out, because I think because then if you then end up feeling a bit stuck, you can end up feeling like people aren't paying this, so that means I'm not worth this. Like, you are worthy regardless of how much money you're making, who you're working with. I just think that's a really key point.
Love that. Thank you so much. So thank you for listening, or if you're watching us on YouTube, you'll find the links to Jessica's work in the comments. If you're listening to us, please go to our blog and you'll find all the information about Jessica and her work there. Thank you so much, Jessica, and I wish you all the best. I think you're really on a great mission to help lots of creatives out there to do the work that's in alignment with who they are. So I think wish you all the best for that.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. It's been really lovely.